Okay, hello. Let's start lying down today. And you can choose to lie in a restorative pose or in a Kapatonasana, depending on where you're feeling. Kapatonasana is going to open up the adductors and it's going to open up the hips. It's a little more intense than restorative pose, which will be more relaxing for the lower back. So if you'd like to, bring the feet wide and the knees to touch. Let's just take a few moments here to try and settle into our space. I'm starting to notice the different sensations that you're feeling today. Does your body feel light or does it feel heavy? Is your breath flowing easily or are you having to work a little bit harder? Does your mind feel clear and focused? Or are you more fragmented and disturbed? And trying to switch off any judgment of any of these sensations. Not feeling positive or negative about them, but rather just simply viewing them as is, as a disinterested observer. Starting to incorporate the three-part breath now, breathing in belly, ribs, chest, exhaling chest, ribs, and belly. Allowing the breath to flow up your torso on the inhale, and down your torso on the exhale. Allow all of your focus to just be on your breath. You can create a soft ujjayi sound, and this will help your mind to focus. Taking 2 more rounds. On your next inhale, slowly draw the knees together. If you're in restorative pose, bringing the feet together. And then just heel toe the feet as wide as the mat, opening the arms into a T shape, and gently dropping the knees from one side to the other in windscreen wiper. Try to incorporate as much softness into the movement as you can. creating an active lift with just the top leg, allowing the bottom leg to move passively. Move with the breath. And usually that means you have to slow the movement down to accommodate the full length of the breath. The next time you drop over to the right, you're going to hold it there, placing the right foot onto the upper leg. Take a deep breath in and sigh the breath out. Release the foot back to the mat, and then inhale the knees to center, exhale dropping to the other side. Placing the foot onto the upper thigh. Deep breath in and out. Release the foot back to the mat and then inhale up to center, taking the knees into your chest. And then drawing the thighs down towards the lower belly as you flatten the back against the mat. Broaden and lengthen into the torso. And then either coming onto the side or rocking up and down a few times. Massaging the spine, really rounding into the back. Trying to create a smooth rhythmic roll. And coming all the way up to sit. Let's slide over the knees into tabletop. Flowing through a few rounds of cat-cow pose. And then inhale into neutral spine. Let's float the left leg up behind you, flexing into the heel, reaching the head and heel away from one another. And then draw the knee out to the side into lamppost pose, lifting the knee as high as it's comfortable to go, keeping both elbows straight. Work into a little circle with the hip. And then change the direction of the circle. Inhale, extend the leg behind you again, flexing the foot, allowing the hip to rest for a moment. And this time keep the leg straight as you bring the foot out to the side. Lift the leg as high as you can, and then gently placing the foot on the floor with the toes pointing forward. You're going to lower here into puppy pose. Resting the head to the mat. allowing the chest to soften to the floor as you relax the hips in this deep hip stretch. On your inhale, start to walk your hands back in and then lift up onto the knee, extending the hands either side of you. Let's reach away from the foot, bringing the right hand down and extending the left arm over. And then inhaling back up to center and coming over the extended leg. Releasing the hands back down to the mat. Float the foot up and then extend it behind you. Exhale to release the knee down to the mat. Taking it to the other side now. Inhale, right foot up. Squeeze into the heel, lengthening the head away. And then bending into the knee, coming into lamppost. Lift the knee as high as is comfortable to go. And then start to increase the intensity with some circular movements. Change the direction of the circle. Inhale the leg behind you, allowing the hip to relax for a moment. And now kick the heel out to the side. Lifting the foot as high as you can manage. And then release the foot to the floor as you lift up onto the knee. Extend the arms out either side of you. Let's come away from the thigh to begin. Left hand down. Stretch out the hip. Let's inhale, coming back up. And now engaging into the joint as we come over the straight leg. Gently release your hand back down to the mat. Float the foot up to the side. And then releasing the leg behind you, dropping the knee back down to the mat. Tucking toes and lifting up and back, downward facing dog. Take whatever movement feels good for you here. And then sinking both heels down to the floor, bring your hands one space in. So you're in a short downward facing dog. Press the heels towards the mat. If they don't touch, it's fine, just anchoring down regardless. And then bring your right hand back to hold anywhere on your left leg. Turn your gaze underneath your left arm. Let's release the right hand down and then taking the left hand to the right leg. And anywhere you grab onto that right leg is fine. Look underneath the arm, coming into a nice deep twist. Let's release the hands back down. Look between the hands and then take little steps forward towards the front of your mat. Slide the hands up to the shin bones into flat back. And then exhale to gently forward fold. Allow the torso to relax a little bit here, creating some traction into the spine. And then bending the knees to roll yourself up to stand. On the inhale breath, you're going to float the left knee to the chest. Lift the body as tall as you can. Let's inhale, open the knee to the side, bringing the right hand in the opposite direction. Inhale to the center, bringing the right hand to hold the knee and extending your left hand behind you. Keep the knee pointing forward now instead of crossing the body. You want to keep the hips square and twist into the core. Inhale the hand back to the knee, lift the leg a little bit higher, and we're going to swing the foot back into a lunge now, releasing the foot behind you, lowering the hands to the mat. Reaching head and heel away from one another. On the inhale breath, stepping back into plank. Engage into the lower belly, and then exhaling knees, chest and chin. Slide onto the tummy, lowering elbows to the floor for Sphinx pose. Point the toes behind you as you puff open through the chest. Releasing down and sliding your way into downward facing dog. You can either move through a child's pose or through a plank to come to down dog. On your inhale breath, take the right leg to the sky and hugging knee to face, face to knee, rounding your upper back. Inhale, float the leg up to the sky, and exhale to step down into lunge. Reaching head and heel away from one another. Inhale, flat back. And exhale to forward fold. Making this an active forward fold, lifting the hips, reaching the head down. Inhale, strong body, lifting all the way up. And exhaling hands to heart. Standing into Utthita, finding your alignment. And then let's inhale, floating the right knee to the chest. Use the core muscles to lift the knee a bit higher. Opening the knee out to the side, extending your left arm away. Keep the hips as square as you can manage here, and you'll find how that really works into glute and into adductor. Let's inhale to the center, switch the hands, and reach the right arm back. Square the hips and twist through the core. Inhale to the center, lift the knee a little bit higher, and then sliding yourself straight into lunge position. Drop the hips as you open up through the heart. On your inhale, stepping back into plank. Floating tall here. Let's lower knees, chest and chin. Sliding onto elbows for Sphinx pose. Inhale, float the elbows off the floor, only if the lower back feels happy to do so. Gently releasing, making your way either through child's pose or plank into downward facing dog. Let's inhale the left leg to the sky. And exhale, knee to face, face to knee. Inhale, lift the leg up. And exhale, stepping the foot forward into lunge. Open up through the heart. Let's step together, flat back. And exhale to forward fold. Inhale, strong body, lifting up. And exhaling hands to heart. Inhale the left knee to the chest, keeping the hands at the chest this time. Straighten into the spine, engaging into the core. You can either interlock your fingers around your big toe, use a strap or a towel, or keep the knee bent. You can straighten if your hamstrings allow it. You can open the straight or bent knee to the side, extending your opposite arm. Focus on what's happening in the hips rather than the hamstring. Let's come to the center again. Switch the hands, holding onto the knee or the straight leg, whichever feels better for you, and extend your opposite arm back. Remember to kick your knee or your heel forward, helping to square the hips. Let's inhale to the center. Everyone's straightening the leg now. You can hold underneath the thigh if you need a bit of assistance to straighten the leg. Keep your leg lifted, hands at the heart, and our pendulum swing that straight leg back down into lunge. Dropping the back knee to the mat and sweeping hands overhead. Slide the hips down as you lift through the spine. Inhale, hands together at the heart. We're going to twist now. Left hand forward, right arm back. Inhaling the hands at the heart. Twisting left hand back, right arm forward. Turn the gaze to the front hand. Drop the back hand to the thigh and lift the top arm to the sky. Let's cartwheel the hands down to the mat, lift the back knee off the floor and step into plank. Floating into your plank, lowering knees, chest and chin, and sliding into cobra. Open up through the heart, wrap the elbows into the rib cage. You can release down through child's pose, or you can tuck toes into plank and downward facing dog. Breathing deeply into the space. Let's inhale the right leg to the sky. And exhale, knee to face, face to knee. Inhale to lift up. Exhale, knee to upper right arm. See if you can make contact. Inhale to lift. And exhale to step the foot forward into lunge. Opening up through the heart. Inhale together, flat back. And exhale to forward fold. Inhale, reaching hands out wide, standing up tall. And exhaling, hands to heart. Engage into bandhas, lifting Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha. Let's float the right knee to the chest. Using the core muscles to lift the knee a bit higher. You can keep the knee bent, or you can straighten into the leg. Opening the bent or straight leg out to the side. Remember to square the hips to the short edge of the mat and kick the heel or knee wider. Let's inhale back to center. Switch the hands and coming into Dancing Shiva. Return to center. Everybody's straightening the leg now. Hold under the thigh if you need assistance to get the leg lifted. And now keep the leg up. Hands at the heart. And let's pendulum the leg back, keeping it straight. Use it as a counterbalance to lower yourself to lunge. Dropping the back knee down to the floor and inhale, crescent lunge. slide the hips down as you lift the spine out the pelvis. Bringing hands together at the heart. Let's twist right hand forward. Keep squaring those hips. Inhale, center, and then twisting right hand back. Turn the gaze to the front, right hand to thigh, and left arm to sky. Cartwheeling the hands down to the mat. Lift your back knee off the floor and stepping into plank. Breathing here. Let's lower knees, chest and chin, and sliding forward into Bhujasana. Remember to keep the legs strong, lifting the pubic bone. Either release down and slide back into child's pose, or tuck toes through plank into downward facing dog. On the inhale breath, taking the left leg to the sky. Exhale, knee to face. Inhale to lift. Exhale, knee to left upper arm. Try and make contact. Inhale to lift. And exhale, stepping the foot forward into lunge. Inhale together, flat back. And exhale to forward fold. Inhale, sweep the hands all the way up and over. And exhaling, hands to heart. Take a moment to breathe here. Let's inhale, float the left knee to the chest. Engaging into bandhas. And this time we're going to sit down into figure of 4. Let the knee drop down, feeling the nice deep engagement into the hip joint. Sit a little bit lower if you've got the space. And then you also have the option of twisting here by bringing the left elbow into the arch of the foot. Press your elbow against your foot to twist. Let's inhale to center. Float the knee back up to the chest. Again, you may want to hold under your thigh. We're going to straighten the leg. And this time we're going to pendulum into warrior 3. Keep the hands at the heart. Keep your leg active. Use it as a counterweight to tip the chest forward. Reaching head and heel away from one another. From here, landing in warrior 2. Place the foot down and reverse cartwheel the arms. Warrior 2. Let's squeeze into that back leg, trying to find balance between left and right sides. On your inhale, straighten the front leg and sliding forward into triangle. You're going to take the half bind with the top arm. So turn your top palm to face back and then wrap the hand behind the back. Either press the back of the hand against the lower back or wrap the hand a bit deeper into the waist or even towards the inner thigh. Use the space you've created now to open up the chest, open up the shoulders. Keep your half bind, float the front hand up and back, reclining triangle. Rebend the front knee and straighten both arms out. Warrior two. Extending forward for Kapatonasana. Elbow to thigh, sweeping the top arm over the ear. And now make sure you've got very little weight on your elbow. It's very, very light. The majority of the weight is in the core, in the back and front thighs evenly. And now float the bottom hand in line with the top. You're going to use the strong core to come back to center and then open the arms out. Let's slide from here into Ardha Chandrasana. So reaching the right hand in front of the baby toes and floating the back leg up. Very welcome to bring the top hand to the hip. Kick your heel away. Reach your head forward. And become very light into the supporting hand. Float the body a little bit higher and maybe take the fingertips off the floor. From here, gently land your way down, hands to the floor, foot to the mat into lunge, and then stepping back into plank. Let's hold into plank for a moment, finding lightness, and then choosing knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga, cobra, or upward facing dog. And then back into downward facing dog. Breathing deeply here. Using down dog as an opportunity to renew, restore, reset. I'm going to walk, step or hop into flat back. Exhale to forward fold. On the inhale breath, float the hands all the way up. And exhaling, hands to heart. Hold here for a moment and breathe. On your inhale breath, float your right knee to your chest. Engaging into bandhas to lift the knee as high as you can. Let's bend into figure of four. And sitting as low as you can comfortably. Keep pushing the top knee towards the mat. And working the stretch into the outer hip and glute. If you'd like to, you can take the twist, right elbow into the arch of the foot. Let's inhale, return up to center, float the knee up. And then you can hold onto the thigh should you need the assistance as you straighten that front leg. Pendulum swing yourself into warrior three. Extend head and heel away from one another. Let's lightly float down, warrior two. Find the even extension between the front and back body. Inhale to straighten your front leg, reaching forward before coming down for Trikonasana. Taking the half bind here, turn the palm to face back and hike the hand behind the back. Bringing the back of the hand to touch your lower back or wrapping into the hip or inner thigh. Keep the half bind as you now float the front hand up and back into reclining triangle. Let's rebend the front knee and bring the hands parallel, warrior two. Making your way into Ardha Chandrasana from here, slide the back hand to the hip first if that helps you with the transition. Find the tensegrity in the pose from heel to crown. Get lighter and lighter into that supporting hand until you can finally float the fingers off the floor just for a moment. We're going to release down through a standing split, so we don't hold here, it's just the alignment of standing split. Just step back into lunge and then into plank. Become light in your plank and moving through a vinyasa of your choice. Inhale into your back bend and exhale into your downward facing dog. Breathing deeply into the space. On your inhale breath, lift up onto the tips of your toes. Start to curl the knees down, rounding into the back to feel the activation of the core. Drop the knees to the mat, open the feet a bit wider, and then come to sit back, opening the calf muscles as you go. You might need a cushion to sit on here. Feel free to get a cushion or a blanket just to lift the hips slightly. You can keep the hands on the floor for a bit of extra support. You can bring the hands onto the feet and lift up there if you need just a bit more support, or bring the hands to the knees. Let's take another 3 deep breaths here. Release the hands to the floor, gently coming forward. We're going to make your way back into downward facing dog, lifting up and stretching the legs in a long shape. Relaxing the knees a little bit now. Let's inhale the right leg to the sky and then step the knee forward into pigeon. Slide the back foot a little bit further back. Open up through the body, making sure the lower back is square. Let's drop down onto the elbows, or to the hands, or to the mat. Either hold your pigeon pose as is, or take the twist by sliding the left arm under the chest, threading the needle, and bringing the right hand over the back to hold onto your front big toe. The twist is not for everyone. Make sure that it feels comfortable to come into this space. Let's release the hand back down. Inhale, center, and then lift yourself up to sit. Start to engage into the lower belly, so you're lifting your torso up and then bending into the back knee. Start to lift your hands a little bit higher towards the front of the body and draw the foot and the head towards one another. Gently release the foot back down, hands to the mat. Lifting up into 3-legged dog. So the front leg floats all the way up and back. I'm going to open your hip now, lifting the leg as high to the sky as you possibly can. Keep the leg straight here and feel as though there's a strong line from fingertip all the way up to the foot, elongating the side of the body. Now bending into that top knee, coming into standing scorpion. Bring the heel towards the glute and lift the knee higher. Feel the stretch into the psoas, which runs over the hip, through the belly to the spine. If you want to, you can drop the top foot behind you into a wild thing. Again, this may not be for you today, that's fine. Stay in the standing scorpion. Let's release the hand back to the mat, three-legged dog, and then releasing to the floor. Let's take a few breaths in down dog, or alternatively in child's pose. On your inhale, floating the left leg to the sky. Hug the knee to the left wrist for Kapatonasana. Slide your back foot a little bit further back, opening up the chest, and then gently descending into your Utthita Kapatonasana. Finding a level that works for your body. If you took the twist on the other side, you can repeat, this time with the right arm under and the left hand holding onto the big toe. Release out of the twist if you're there. Everyone coming up into your upright pigeon. Start to lift your torso out of the pelvis. Really feeling elongation into lower belly, lower back. And then bend into the back knee. Maybe see if you can lift yourself a little bit higher. Drawing head and toes towards one another. There's an arch happening here, so make sure you're moving with control. Let's gently release the leg, release the hands. Coming into three-legged dog. Float the knee up, use the strong core, and lift your leg to the sky. And I'll lift the foot as high as you can, making a long line from finger to toe. Open your hip a bit deeper, turning underneath the left arm, bending into the top knee, stretching psoas. Stay here or drop down into wild thing. Let's make our way back, three-legged dog. And then releasing into Ardha Mukha Svanasana. Hold here for a few breaths or come down into child's pose. On your inhale, breath, walk, step or hop to sit on your mat. And bring your legs in front of you. Let's open the feet out into a wide V shape. Lift your hips up, send the tailbone back slightly, and coming to sit into an upright active position. Gently fold your way forward. Let's inhale, coming back up to center, lifting slowly. Draw the soles of the feet together. And then bring your arms underneath your shins, hands to the top of the feet. You can scooch the hips back a little bit more and gently lower your head towards your heels. Inhale to roll yourself back up to sit. Bend your knees together and then open your feet hip distance wide. Walk the heels quite close in, hands behind you, and lifting into a reverse tabletop. Engage the core, the glutes, the thighs, and open the heart center. Try to lift your chest higher than the shoulders. Neck can come forward, up, or back, whatever feels most comfortable. One more breath. And then slowly lowering yourself down to the mat. You're going to come all the way to the floor and extend the legs forward and roll yourself down. Taking your knees into your chest. And coming into eagle twist now, wrapping the right thigh around the left, hooking the toes if that's available. Arms open into a T shape, inhale, and exhale, drop the legs to the left. Let's inhale to the center, switch the legs around, inhale, and exhale, drop to the right. Let's return to the center, unwrap the legs, hug your knees into your chest. And then making your way into Shavasana. Opening up the hips, the lower back, the middle and upper back, creating space for the shoulders and the neck. Let's take another few rounds of 3-part breath. Inhaling belly, ribs, chest. Exhaling chest, ribs, and belly. Taking about 3 to 5 rounds of your 3-part breath. And when it feels good to you, you can let that breath go and come into a quiet, calm breath. Slowly start to deepen and lengthen your breath. Feeling your belly rise and fall. Gently running your thumb over the tips of your fingers. Moving your toes, ankles and wrists. Drawing your legs together and extending your arms overhead, taking a deep, energizing stretch as you yawn or sigh. Bending your knees as you roll onto your side. Holding here for a moment, connecting into the shifting energy. On your inhale, make your way up into a comfortable seated position. Drawing your hands together at your heart center in Anjali Mudra. We'll close the class by chanting Om once and Shanti 3 times. Taking a deep breath in. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Raising your hands to your third eye. The light in me sees and honors the light in you. Lowering your hands to your lips, to your heart, to the mat. Gently opening your eyes, inhaling to sit. Namaste.